Eagles' league-leading defense. Fly, Eagles, fly. That's how you set up a story. Wentz says he's looking forward to the matchup.
This is a great defense. You know, they do fly around, they make plays. It's one of the better defenses we'll face all year. They're talented. They're talented, obviously, with Von Miller over there. You got to always know where he's at. You know, there's a reason he's always talked about as one of the best players in the league, and it shows up on tape.
You know, he's out there trying to play football. He's not even playing quarterback. He's out there playing football. And, you know, it's similar to, you know, Ben Roethlisberger and Andrew Luck. But like I said, I'm not making, you know, any comparisons. He's totally different, faster than those guys, quicker than those guys. You know, it's going to be a tough challenge.
Coach, one of the more contentious topics we have bounced around on the show is about the Philadelphia Eagles and where they are now and where they will be in 2 months. I won't tell you which side of the table goes where, but let's talk about these Eagles. Are they really as great as their record says they are?
It's hard for me to say that. And look, I like a lot of things about the Eagles. I really like Jim Schwartz, the defense coordinator. I think it's interesting what they do with the defensive line, the way they rotate those guys through. They've got a really good giveaway takeaway differential. To me, that's a sign of a really good team. And with Carson Wentz, last year we talked about how great he was early, and there were guys fitting him for a Hall of Fame jacket, and they started fast and they finished 7-9. So looking at this team, the question I have is, can they get over that hump that they couldn't get over last year? And the amount that he's been pressured throughout the course of the season is a problem. They're going to have to continue to run the ball effectively, which adding Jay is a really good step to that. But when he drops back to pass, he's getting hit almost, or at least
he's being pressured as much as almost anybody.
Yeah, almost 40% of the time. And to me, that's a real issue moving forward.
And Nick also has an issue with their competition, who they played this year. Only two really good.
I think that if the Eagles were 6-2 instead of 7-1, we would look at them as one of the 5 or 6 really good teams in the league. Because they are the one team with one loss, we've elevated them to a place that I'm just not certain their play is necessarily warranted. But you bring up, I think, a really important concern, which is the amount of pressure on Wentz prior to Jason Peters being injured, prior to your potential future Hall of Famer, certainly multiple-time All-Pro left tackle being injured. And now you're not going to slide Lane Johnson over, so you're going to try to keep the continuity with the line, which means you're going to have Vaitai in at left tackle, one of, if not your most important offensive line position. And then people say, oh, well, they added Jay Ajayi. Jay Ajayi is a good player in this league. Jay Ajayi is better will help them more this year than the draft pick in the future would. But I also need to know, are we getting something close to the Jay Ajayi of 2016 when he was one of the best running backs in the league, or the Jay Ajayi of this year when he's been just below league average? I want to know those things, and I want to know if this is sustainable, and this being the Eagles have thrived on third and really long. They have the third most 3rd and 10 pluses of any team in football. They are succeeding on those. Now, maybe that's because Wentz is just amazing, and maybe that's just not sustainable.
Well, Wentz has been amazing. I don't think the question is fair, because there's no one in the league that's playing great football. There's no great football team. It's not a season where there's going to be great. So trying to say, well, are the Eagles, are they this great? No, it's really not a fair question based on what's going on in the NFL. But you are what your schedule and your record is, all right? They lined up the 8 teams. They beat 7 of them. That's not the Eagles' fault. Park Avenue made the schedule. Now, how good is this football team? Well, how good do you have to be this year? I mean, how good do you have to be? They're one of the outstanding football teams this year based on everything that's going on. Are there question marks on the left side? Yes, there are going to be question marks. But what I'm concerned about is Zach Ertz is having a fabulous season.
Fabulous.
Great year.
6 touchdowns, over 400 yards receiving. Now, because our left tackle, how do we compensate? All right? Because Ertz has been a West Coast 5 out. That means they got 5 people out into the route. They don't have the extra protector. You can't do that with, what's the left tackle's name?
Vaitai.
Vaitai. Typically, when your left tackle's named Vaitai, the quarterback ends up drinking Mai Tais after the game. Okay, so you better put some protection over there.
Did you just come up with that?
So yes, that was right off the dome. But I like the getting running back Ajayi from Miami. Why? Because I believe he was hurt, Nick. He's right. He's got a bad knee. All right. He's missed a lot of practice time, but this is for their future. And when you bring him into the room, I think people who don't study football don't understand the room got better. So the pressure on Blunt to be better, it goes up. Smallwood, the third down back, that's all he should be. The pressure on him, it goes up. It gives Wentz other options so they can stay out of these third and long situations. But let's not forget who they're going against.
Right.
I mean, how many points you think Denver going to score?
That's
right.
Well, okay.
And
but the flip side is how many Denver's the best, arguably the best defense in football, definitely the best rush defense in football, right? So this is a game where Carson Wentz is going to have to play well against a pair of the best corners in football. I agree with you. Broncos offense led by Brock Osweiler doesn't scare anybody. But that defense is, the entire reason they have any of their wins this year is because of the defense.
Yeah, but last night, Buffalo was the second best rush defense going into the game, and they gave up 6.2 yards a carry against the Jets. So I don't think you can just say apples to apples. It depends on how you match up against that defensive front. The 3rd and 10 stat that you brought up, to me, is bothersome because it's low percentage. The odds of you being able to consistently,
yes,
and
that's not sustainable.
That's not sustainable, and it points to a problem of why are they in so many 3rd and longs? What do they need to do on 1st and 2nd down to bring that back down? And your point about putting pressure on Blunt, that's true, and it also takes pressure off Ajayi, which sometimes that makes a world of difference in the way a guy performs. I remember when we got Corey Dillon in New England. And I was talking to him, he said one of the great things about that experience was he didn't have to be the man anymore. He just was able to go and play football.
And you'd be surprised
and that's liberating to a
how
lot of
many guys, they don't want to be that guy. They don't want to be the guy, man, 3rd down, they're going to throw it to you. Yes, I always wanted to be that guy. But all football players aren't that way. That's a great point, Coach.
You also don't want to have to come in and be the savior on a team that's playing so well and the bar is this high and people are going to look to you and say you're the difference between whether we kept going or whether we fell back. Hold on a second. Because it's time for Hall of Fame hands. Let's take a look.
Without these hands, I don't know what I'd do.
Push yourself, fires it deep. What a catch! Greatest catch I've ever seen.
Taylor Loeffler of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the CFL with the hands-on defense.
Oh my goodness! I watch a lot of CFL. I didn't see this play. Tip.
That's a
dive. That was a nice dive. I don't know how much of his hands he used. He scooped it up. Hall of Fame scooper. Good attempt. This is Hall of Fame effort. I can't say Hall of Fame hands. Hall of Fame effort. I watched the CFL. My son and them, Saskatchewan. They got to win this week. They're already into the playoffs. But Coach, he's playing both ways in Saskatchewan.
Come on.
He had a 200-yard game 2 weeks ago, and then came back last week with a pick 6. So CFL, much respect.
CFL is actually pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, we need to get him to the NFL though, Coach.
Well, playing both ways is a really good.
Well, he's the most outstanding player on his team, so he's up for Player of the Year in the CFL
and
too.
Meanwhile, by the way, for the gamblers out there, Saskatchewan at 7-1 in the CFL title.
Coach.
Not a bad bet. Some good value there.
Thank you so much.
Good to be here.
Really